Hi, my name is Natalia and I'm coming to you from Denmark, and this is my knitting podcast. I was trying to record the podcast earlier, but I tried another camera and that wasn't a success. That my another camera making perfect pictures, but apparently video is not for that camera, so I will try to do this short because because of quarantine. I'm not used to talk so much every day and record the video a second time. That's quite hard. So I want to start with what I'm wearing, and this pattern is a Spike by Caitlin Hunter. I made this pattern around 2 years ago. I really like this sweater. I can tell you what main color I use for this because I don't make notes about this on my project page on Ravelry, and I use almost all yarn what I had in my stash for this color, for this yarn. But there is a notes about what contrasting color I use for this, and all my project pages, all my project what I'm talking, I'm trying to fill out the pages on Ravelry for them. So you always can go and check what yarn I use and what colorway, needles, and some notes, like if I make some alternation in the pattern. And for this pattern I don't make anything different. I will try to insert some pictures of me wearing this sweater. I believe that first I make this a little longer, but then after sometimes I feel like that's not great fit for me, so I cropped that a little, and now I'm more happy with the fit. And I believe while I was knitting, there was at that time already a lot of projects for this pattern, and all necks, not all, many necks was looking quite tight, and that's not the look what I really like. I like neck more open, so I went for size up. So I cast on like for size M, I believe, and make all ribbon in that, then make short ropes, and then after this I went to when I was on stitch count right for the smaller size, I just start following the pattern for the smaller size. And I really like this sweater. I think that was my first Caitlin Hunter pattern and I really liked it. I need some more of her pattern too, to Kumsen, and one more sweater, I don't remember, but there's all names, all projects on my project list. So that's what I'm wearing today. I like this sweater. If I will need this again, I don't know, maybe some darker color, but for now I have long list of the sweaters and another projects what I want to knit. But that's what I'm wearing. Then now I want to move to my finished object, and this time I don't have any. I don't finished any my previous work in progress. I cast on more, and I find out this week that I have 3 pairs of socks when I have just one finished and another one or just started or even don't start it. So this week I will show you 2 half finished objects. What is, both of them are socks. One I cast on was, I showed you last time, but one wasn't even started last time. So I will start with that what was last time. This socks, it's called Rusui by Tina Ku. I find out about this socks on podcast Chia Bo. It's a Swedish woman who are making podcasts both in Swedish and in English, and she made this year a call for, it's called Free Socks 2020. It's really interesting. She's pick up in free pattern from Ravelry every month, and all I need in these socks. This month's socks was really interesting, so I started them. Last year I was, this is my one ready sock. Last podcast I was showing you the start of this sock. It was in a different color and the contrast wasn't enough. So I tried to make maybe 3 repeats of the color work, so I went maybe to this length and found out that contrast is not good enough. That was hard to knit and my work wasn't worth it because you cannot see the pattern on that. So I make 3 repeats, then looked for this and I rip it back. And I pick up another yarn. This yarn is also, you can see this on the top, it's kind of like a striping yarn. So this also maybe not the best for the color work, but I actually like this. Here on the foot it's hard to see the pattern, that it's kind of like leaves for the flower, and here on top you can actually see that it's leaves and flower, and I like how it looks. It socks for me, so I'm going with this. I wasn't happy about previous colors, but about this one I'm happy. These 2 colors, this yarn, all names for this yarn I put on my project page. I use this white color, like, I don't know if you can call this main color or contrasting, because I made yarn after I was ready with first sock, and I think that I use exactly the same amount of this main color and contrasting color. So this is my main color, and that one, this is my contrasting color. I like the combination of them. They both was in my stash, so I'm happy to use the free socks pattern and yarn from a stash. And these socks are calling for one more contrasting color here on top for these flowers, and that's color I cannot name and I don't know what it is. The yarn, it's sock yarn, I think 75-25, but I don't know color or company. I have just small leftovers of this yarn. So, but I like how it's going with these colors. I think it's contrasting enough, but still in the one color theme, so I like how it's going, so I'm going with that. I use 2 millimeters for ribbon and 2.5 millimeters needles for the color work part. This heel construction was really interesting. I really like how it's fit. I wasn't sure about stitch count for the pattern because the pattern is called for 72 stitches for the socks, and normally I knitted my socks on 56 stitches, so 72 was looking too much for me. I was thinking like, okay, that's color work, so I understand that color work, at least for me, it's more tighter knit, so I understand that I was needed more stitches as normally I need. But I actually quite like the fit. It's not that snug on the leg, but I like how it's on me. I was afraid that that will be more sloppy, but it isn't. So I like the sock. I like how it's turned out. Now I just need to continue with second one. Yesterday I was watching Chia Bow podcast and decided I should start the second sock. So I made the toe for next one. I wasn't trying to match them. That's for me. I don't think that that's so important to have matchy stripes. Sometimes I like this, but for these socks that's okay for me. So I will try to continue with the socks, and I really want to finish them until end of April to participate in this call. It's called Free Socks 2020. If you're interested, look more for, I will try to link or call or maybe Chia Bow podcast. It's really nice. She's making a lot of color work, so it's interesting to watch, at least for me. And that socks are living in just project bag for I make for myself. I have one more like that today. I make one smaller bag that time and one bigger. They both was made from some, I believe that was some old jeans and then just some fabric what I had not a lot for making something else, so I was trying to make some project bags for myself. So that's my first half finished object, and my second half finished object is also living in a bag what I also made for myself. For this I believe that I just bought some fabric in how it's called, thrift shop, yeah, like recycle shop. So this socks is a test knit. I found out about this test knit through Instagram. There's text on Instagram, something like test knits needed, something like that. And if you're interested to find some new test knits, you always can find something interesting for yourself. So I find the socks. It is called Believe in Me by Raven Reed Eden. Sorry for my pronunciation, I don't know how to pronounce this right, but I made the project page for the socks on my Ravelry page, and I will try to insert more nice pictures of these socks. This grey color, what is main color in the socks, is actually the color what I used last time for pre-socks 2020 socks, and that was combined with this white, but that wasn't enough contrast. So I'm ready with one sock. The pattern is really clear, you can understand everything, there's no problem, and it's interesting enough because of color work, but it's easy enough because it's a lot bigger part of this is just stocking stitch, and the color work is quite easy and interesting. So the pattern is called for main color and two contrasting colors. My first contrasting color was the same as on previous socks, and my second contrasting color, it was some leftovers of my I believe I need some mittens for that, and the color look like that. I like the socks, I think that they fit great. Now I just need to cast another one and pull through, because apparently now I'm just casting socks and putting one side and don't continue with them. I understand that it's weather is warming, but after this I will cannot wear just one socks because that's not a pair. So that's two socks what I have in the work now. I have one more socks, but I don't make any progress on them, so I will even don't be showing this today. And I also have two sweaters in my work in progress. First, it's the sweater what I was showing you last time. It's the Twigs by Junko Okamoto. It's, I don't know how far I was last time, but I just separate the sleeves and working on the body now. It's really nice yarn because it's yarn from Holst Garn, and it's Noble. And I have my main color is black, and then I have the lighter and darker gray in contrast with this. There are small pictures in my Instagram and my Ravelry page, so you can look. But I don't really put a lot of work for this sweater because I cast another sweater, and I using needles what I use in this sweater on a color work on that another sweater, and both of the sweaters are knitted in light finger and weight, so it's a lot of stitches even for not a big size, and it's taken long time. But now when I'm touching this yarn, I can really tell difference between yarn like Noble and Super Soft, because Noble have 95% of wool and 5% cashmere, and Super Soft they have 100% of wool, but maybe it's different wool, or maybe this 5% of cashmere make difference, but yarn feels really different, and the feeling when you're knitting it's also different. I know that Super Soft it's softening a lot because I have project what I already made with them. I know that it's softening a lot and that will feel better, but now when I knit with this I feel the difference and understand why yarn costs different and a different price. So that's my Twix sweater. Again, all notes about all my projects is on my Ravelry page, and I'm linking all projects down below. My second sweater in progress is called Ringstein by Cecilia Odanes. It's not released yet. I'm working for this like test knitter, and this one I'm making in Super Soft. This one I'm making in Super Soft, so it's 100% wool, and my colors is this black, and I don't remember, I don't take a tag with me, but I believe it's called something like cinnamon sugar. It's like cinnamony tobacco color. So it's again light fingering weight, so it takes a long time to work with, and this yarn feels a lot different at that. This one on the Twix, it feels like it's already washed, maybe it is washed, but this feels a lot more rough, but I know that after I will wash it will soften a lot. So I see the call for this test knit, and the pattern was really interesting for me. I hope you can see something. If not, with that I will try to put some pictures of my pattern, my colors and my progress, and then we'll try to put the picture of sweater what I'm knitting. The sweater have really nice construction. It's have a lot of color work, but it don't have a yoke on top. It's have raglan, an interesting raglan when you have different stitch. You don't increase in all the time, just in the same amount on the sleeves and on the body, you increasing in different part, different amount on the sleeves and on the body. So I never tried that construction. I decided to try this with this sweater, and this will be my first stick, because I decided to make a cardigan from the sweater. The designer allowed me to make this, so I will try to make this. I watch a lot videos how to add stick and also how to work with them later, so I feel confident enough to make this, especially with this yarn, because it's sticky yarn. I don't afraid that that will start unraveling, and I will try to make a crochet chain to put through this and I will be ready. But for now I just separate for sleeves, I put them on hold, and body, and I believe that body have 2 repeats of this main pattern, and there is some small patterning like that in between, and just rows with stockinette stitch. So, and then full color work sleeves. So I don't know when I will be ready with this, but I will try to put more work in this sweater because it's test knit, and be ready with this faster. So I really like how it's looking. I hope to be done with this soon. And there is last project what I'm working with now. There wasn't a project last week, but I cast on this just, I believe just yesterday, because I was waiting for the yarn really long. Because of quarantine we have all yarn shop is closed, and I ordered this through internet, but then there was Easter and I was waiting really long for this, for the mohair. I had the main, I'm knitting the hat. Yeah, let's start with that. That's, the pattern is called Verso Beanie by Koti Kotoni. Yeah, I believe that, again, all project page are linked down below. This beanie is, this hat is knitted in sport way yarn held double with mohair, and I had this sport way yarn left over from the sweater what I knit previously, so I decided to use that what I already had in stash, but I was needed to buy some mohair because I hadn't any mohair what will match with that. So that's my two colors. This sport yarn has some tweedy snips in different colors and I really like this. This yarn, when I was ordering through internet, I was thinking that it's like nice gray color, but apparently it has some purpley or lilac-y tone in that, but I'm okay with this. I'm not a big fan of purple, but that's not that purple what I don't like. So two yarns look like that together, and the fabric what they made with both of them looking like this. I'm really happy with the fabric what I'm knitting. The pattern is called for, I know, a big amount of centimeters just in 1 by 1 rib, and then there is decreasing for top, but I've read that's too much of ribbing for begin, and the hat should read pattern to the end, and it should have the brim. You're supposed to roll this 3 times, and I'm afraid that that will be too warm because it's part by with mohair, and fold this 3 times. I'm not sure. I'm going with the pattern for now, and later we will see how it's going. And I'm knitting this, forgot to talk about needles today. I'm knitting this on Knit Pro 3mm, and it's small circumference. There's like 40 centimeters I believe, but it's perfect for the hat. I really like to knit hats on these small needles. That's going really fast for me. I will put names for yarn in my project page, because I see that on my camera it's not really want to focus on the labels. The sport by yarn is Black Hill Reborn, and it has 300 meters per 100 gram, and this color is CW019, and then mohair, it's Black Hill Silk Mohair, and I don't know, it has 225 meters per 25 grams, and it's just 72% of mohair and 28 of silk. And I forgot to tell that this project is later not in a project bag, but actually that's a makeup bag, but I bought this to use for project, for knitting, because I decided it's big enough, and I like that it's transparent, because I decided I will see through what actually I have in this, and it have this funny print of the dogs, so I like that. I'm not really happy with the zipper on this, because that's not the best quality zipper, but we got what we have. I'm happy with that, and I think it's quite funny. So that's all sweater, socks and hat what I have in progress. I hope that for next time I will also have some finished projects. And There's also 2 blankets what I'm trying to work with. I'm working on my cozy memory blanket. That's hard to show you, but it's already quite big, but not big enough for that bed, but it's should go on. I'm using the markers on each square what I'm knitting, and I started to do this in December when I had my advent calendar. I was putting the markers on the squares what I just need to count how much I'm making, and this time because I'm trying to make 365 squares during this year, and the February and March wasn't so productive for me. I'm trying to put markers to see the progress, and maybe that will give me a power to go through this. I tried to count how much it's taken me to make 1 square on this blanket, and I find out that it's taken more than 40 minutes for 1 square, and I think that's really a lot of time. I think I can make a lot more on the socks. I get interrupted. So I think that 40 minutes 1 square is really long, but I really want to finish this blanket, so I'm pushing my through. I think that taken me so long because when I started this blanket, I decided that I want the fabric quite dense, so I pick up, I think, the smallest needles what I had. It's less than 2 millimeters, and I think that's why it's taken me so long. But I'm trying, every month I'm counting these markers what I make and putting this amount of them on my Ravelry page for this blanket project, and then I'm starting next one for next month with next markers that I'm pulling back. But I put a lot of work, a lot new rows on my granny stripe crocheted blanket. I started this less than 2 months ago, and this blanket I think I started like 2 years ago, and if you look on them like that, they look kind of like the same on the size, and that's take so much less time to make it. I'm impressed by that. So for this blanket I use like color theme, like blue, gray, teal colors. This blanket don't have any color theme. I just put in all socks yarn what I have in there, and I also put in the advanced mini skin in there. So last time I'm trying to find progress marker. That's not here. Sorry. Yes, now I found that. So last time I was here, I make a lot of progress. That's a lot. I'm happy how it's going. I think now it's more than a meter high. It's like meter 20, meter 430, I think. And the length of the bag is 2 meters. And I want to make this full length, so I still have work to do, but I'm really happy with the progress. And I count that I use around 25 minutes to crochet all row. That's a lot more faster as the knitted square on Cozy Memory blanket. So I'm really surprised. When I count the time, I was really surprised, and now I understand why people crochet in blanket. That's taken a lot less time as to knit a blanket. And I already decide that I will crochet 1 more blanket after we'll be ready for this. This one should be for my son, and I asked my daughter if she want one. No, she actually asked me first if that's warm enough because it's look quite holly, but then she tried and tell like, yeah, it's warm enough, and then she picked up 2 books I will try to insert picture here. She used cover books for showing me colors what she want to have in her blanket, and it's have like black, white, gray, red and orange, if I'm not mistaken, but again I will try to put the picture. So when I will be ready with this crochet blanket, I believe that I will cast one more. But that was all about knitting. The quarantine is continuing here in Denmark. The government is opening little by little. First they open, it's already 2 or 3 days, they open kindergartens and younger classes in a school, and then they will try to open more and more things. So we will see how that will go. The numbers for sick and dead people because of corona wasn't so high in Denmark, and we went on a quarantine quite early, so I believe that's why we have this. But we already all quite tired with sitting home. It's really different everyday routine as was before, so I believe that we all are ready to go with our normal life again. But that was all for today, what I was having. I will try to finish some projects and show you next time, but that was all for today. I wish you all health and good knitting time, and we will see each other next time. Hi.